Hello, and welcome to Renaissance Knowing Your True Self. Today, I want to talk about microaggressions. This was specifically requested to me by my cousin in the States. She had, we've always had lots of very good conversations, and she specifically asked me if I could do a video on microaggressions. And I love my cousin, and I also feel that this is a great topic to talk about. And so here we are, microaggression. When I talk about microaggression, it's mostly like behavior statements that people do, and it could be us, could be anybody, and they could come across as mostly racist, but even sexist, and sometimes it can happen very. It's very subtle too sometimes, but it's these microaggressive actions or statements are made intentionally, sometimes even unintentionally. And why I say unintentionally is because sometimes some things could be said in to be well-meaning, but it actually comes across as an insult. And when I say the word intentional, there's one thing to be observing about other people to see if they are doing that to you. But also, more importantly, are we doing it ourselves? How do we know? We may have some unconscious bias that we haven't thought of, and some things that we say might just come out like that. And we don't know if we are unknowingly or unintentionally hurting the other person. So I'll give some examples and specifically be more of racist and sexist, sort of a combination. So here I am. I'm a woman of color. So have fun trying to navigate through the different environments, be it your friends, be it in relationships, be it at work, etc. Whatever. We always come across things like that. So some of the examples I will give that I have personally experienced, and that is, like I said, the combination of being a woman of color and just being a woman. I remember back when I started my career, I would, I work in IT. It's a very rewarding, fulfilling career for me. And one of the aspects of my job is that, we have meetings. We got lots of meetings. And I remember that I would be sitting in meetings with typically a lot of men, mostly white men. And maybe I was like the only woman and also a woman of color. Now, in those days, I was very naive. So you want to come in there, you want to impress, you want to look good, you want to perform, right? But I remember that, people would make statements in the meeting and, they were all addressed, acknowledged, etc. I would open my mouth and say something, and either I was shut down or somebody interrupted me and just wouldn't let me continue, and then interrupt me, and like the conversation would go a completely different direction. And then I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough. So what that resulted was me feeling not good, me feeling that I'm not that good. They're all probably way better. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm this and that. I was doubting myself, right? And now when I look back, it was microaggression because I know now my worth. I know that I have a lot to offer. I know that I provide a lot of value. So those days when I was asking questions or making statements or whatever, it was just, and again, maybe they were doing it unconsciously. I don't know, but those were clearly microaggression acts. That's what it is. Another time recently, I had a thing where it was more sexist than anything, where I was told to take meeting minutes for every meeting that we had. And it was always me because I was in a group of all men, and I, being the only female, I was the only person being asked to take meeting notes. I was told in front of our clients, I was told in meetings, Rana, can you please make sure you take the meeting minutes and send the notes out, things like that. And so those were two examples. So the first was kind of racist, sexist. Second one was more of a sexist comment. So it's things like that. Another thing that's more racist is you speak really good English compared to your colleagues. Excuse me? And I actually clearly felt very offended hearing that, right? So the person making that comment is trying to compliment me, but I actually took that as an offense. So I've heard that so many times, that you're very articulate, you're very, for an Indian, you're very articulate, you're very this, you're very, like, and it just felt, it feels weird. Like I'm sorry, that's not a compliment. It's actually an insult to my fellow Indians or my fellow, people of color, etc. So it's kind of like as if I speak proper English, that means I am smart. But if I don't speak proper English, that means I'm stupid or I'm not as intelligent or educated as anybody else. And that is just completely wrong. Things like that. And, or statements where, people don't acknowledge your feelings or, I'm sure like if you talk to a lot of Black people, they can come up with a lot more better examples of racial microaggression aggression statements that are made to them. One just came to mind, and I remember this one: I don't see color. Oh my God. I understand the meaning of it, that what they're trying to say is I don't see color, but actually it's not, because you're denying that a person is of a different color. And I remember this one person that I knew, a white guy, a friend of mine, who's no longer a friend of mine right now. He actually had the audacity to say that to me last year when we had this whole incident with George Floyd, Black Lives Matter. And I was, trying to educate myself a little bit more on Black issues and what's going on. And I remember having this conversation with him, and that is what I can say. He had the audacity to say, I don't see color. And all I said was, BS, you can see color. You're white, I'm brown. Don't say you don't see color. That's just insulting, right? I am clearly brown and you can see it. Why do you have to deny it? I'm proud that I'm brown, right? So that was that. I had to like school him right then and there. And so that's also another a statement of microaggression. So things like that. Have you really experienced acts of racism? Like, excuse me? And again, it's a person who has privilege asking me these kind of dumb questions. Like, I don't have to explain myself and justify myself to people. So some of the things, so those are 3 examples. There's so much more that I could give, but I would be here like forever talking about it. You can look up on Google, look up microaggressions and just read more on those things. So certain things that, I have dealt with. So in the example where I said where I was in a room full of men, and if I can't, and I try to open my mouth and they kind of like, cut me off, etc. What would I do? Now I would just be quiet at that point. But then usually towards the end of the meeting, they'll say, oh, does anybody else have any questions? And that's when I would pipe in with, I have a question. I just want to finish up, etc., etc., etc. One time someone tried to cut me off when I was trying to recap something. He cut me off to go somewhere else. I was not impressed with that, but I just let him go for 2 minutes. And then I just said, okay, great. Now can we get back to the point that I'm trying to state here? And when I said that, I said it very firmly, and that kept this guy, it just got him to shut up basically and listen to what I had to say, right? So it's just kind of like, you don't want to make a scene, but you want to do it firmly, but assertive and be diplomatic. And maybe I could have cut him off. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments. If he had cut me off, should I try to cut him off or not? But, maybe I could do a better job with that. I'm still learning, but I was still able to get back to what I was trying to say. When this person was also, the incident where this other person was trying to like tell me to take the meeting minutes, write it down, take notes. One time I got really frustrated, but I tried to keep my cool. And when we were all in a meeting together, and this was after a client meeting, we had our internal meeting. And again, the same thing he said, Rena, please take the meeting minutes and, and send it out to the clients. And he said, and he proceeded to tell me what exactly to write. Number 1, this, number 2, this, and I just said, why can't you do it? Is there a reason why you cannot do it? And the reason why I said that was because it was like, I'm not junior to this person. I don't work for him. We're peers. I'm a senior person too. But that there was a reason, and it was very sexist of him to keep asking me to take meeting minutes and to take notes. So that's why I turned around and I told him, can you do it? You send the meeting minutes. And I said it in front of somebody else too, which was kind of a bold step on my part. And he actually said, oh yeah, sure. He never asked me to do that again. So that's what I mean, is taking small steps, but to address it so that people just don't walk all over you. Because when we do little changes or say something back politely, it gets people to check themselves, right? And it's more of us making sure that we're heard, we're standing up for ourselves. And, because we are here to provide value. We provide value here, where no one is inferior, no one is superior. So that's your takeaway here. Don't let anybody, put you down with their statements. And at the same time, check yourself too. Are you doing anything to put other people down? Intentionally, unintentionally. Check your own bias while you check everybody else's. That's all I got to say. We will talk later. And if you have more examples of microaggression you want to share in the comments, feel free, because it's great to raise awareness about this, because this is happening. I just wish there was more awareness about this, but it's happening every time. And the more awareness, the more people can check themselves and educate themselves. Take care and have a great week. Bye.